Welcome back to the channel where we bring the most iconic action stories to life. Today we are diving into a true movie story. Ip Man. Ip Man is a 2008 Hong Kong biographical martial arts film based on the life of Ip Man, a grandmaster of the martial art Wing Chun and teacher of martial artist legend Bruce Lee. The film focuses on events in IP's life that supposedly took place in the city of Foshan during the Sino-Japanese War. The film was directed by Wilson Yip and stars Donnie Yen as the main character, with martial arts choreography by Sammo Hung. The film co-stars Simon Yam, Lynn Hung, Lam Katan, Shin Yu, Hiroyuki Ikuchi, and Tenma Shibuya. The film was a co-production between China and Hong Kong, and was the last film to be distributed by Mandarin Films. Ip Man is the first film in the Ip Man film series. It premiered in Beijing on December 10, 2008, and was released theatrically in Hong Kong on December 19, 2008, receiving widespread acclaim from critics and audiences. Before the film's release, Raymond Wong announced that there would be a sequel. A second installment titled Ip Man 2 was released in April 2010. A third installment titled Ip Man 3 was released in 2015, and Ip Man 4, the finale, was released in 2019. Ip Man grossed more than $22 million worldwide, despite not being released in North America and most of Europe. Following its success, the film was nominated for 12 Hong Kong Film Awards, winning awards for Best Film and Best Action Choreography. In 1935, Foshan is a hub of Southern Chinese martial arts, where the various schools' students compete against each other. Ip Man, the most skilled martial artist in town, maintains a low profile while building a reputation for skill through friendly, closed-door competitions with other masters. One day, a local troublemaker named Yuan loses his kite, which lands in a tree in the IP family's backyard. While retrieving it, Yuan witnesses IP defeating fellow Kung Fu master Liu in a sparring match, and spreads the news around town, inadvertently embarrassing Liu. Yuan's brother Lynn, a restaurant owner and disciple of Liu, publicly embarrasses Yuan as he tries to arrange a rematch between Liu and IP. During the Second Sino-Japanese War, IP and his family are forced to move into a decrepit apartment after the Imperial Japanese Army confiscates the house for use as their military headquarters. Desperate to support his family, IP finds work at a coal mine alongside Lynn, who hopes to reconcile with his brother for humiliating him but has so far failed to track him down. General Miura, a Japanese karate master, sets up an arena where Chinese martial artists can fight with his military trainees for a bag of rice. Former police officer Li Zhao, now an interpreter for the Japanese, offers the martial artists the opportunity to fight in the arena. IP at first declines to participate, but agrees to go following Lynn's disappearance after taking part. At the arena, IP witnesses Liu being executed by Miura's deputy Colonel Sato for picking up a bag of rice from a prior victory after giving up a second match against 3 karateka. Deducing that Lynn was killed in his fight against Miura, IP demands a match with 10 karateka at once, whom he brutally defeats. His skill arouses the interest of Miura, who asks IP to return. IP collects Liu's bag of rice and gifts it to his surviving family. Jin Shanxiao, a highly skilled northern Chinese martial arts master who once defeated all the masters in Foshan except IP, now leads a bandit gang and harasses the workers at a cotton mill run by IP's friend Chao Qingchun. IP agrees to train the workers in Wing Chun for self-defense. The workers are able to stall the gang when they return, as IP arrives to defeat Jin and Yuan, now a part of the gang. After the fight, IP confronts Yuan and gives him a small tin that belonged to Lin after informing him of his brother's death. Yuan opens the tin and finds his kite inside. This motivates Yuan to leave the gang. When IP does not return to the arena, Miura sends Sato, along with several soldiers, to track IP down. After overpowering them at the apartment, IP and his family flee and hide in Lee's house. The Japanese track IP to the cotton mill and take the workers hostage. Despite Lee's warnings, IP surrenders himself to the Japanese while arranging for his wife and son to be sent to Hong Kong for protection. Miura asks IP to train the Japanese soldiers in Chinese martial arts, but IP refuses and challenges Miura to a match. Though Sato requests to execute IP, Miura accepts the challenge to defend the Japanese honor and crush the Chinese spirit. Behind Miura's back, Sato threatens IP with death if he does not allow Miura to win. At the city square, IP defeats Miura after a long and hard fight. Looking over the cheering crowd, which includes his wife and son, IP is shot in the shoulder by Sato. As the crowd overwhelms the Japanese soldiers, Lee kills Sato with his own gun. However, IP is taken away by Chow amid the chaos and manages to escape with his family to Hong Kong. A closing montage and captions reveal that IP spent the rest of his life working to spread the teachings of Wing Chun, establishing a school and training several students, including Bruce Lee. Cast: Donnie Yen as Ip Man, the son of a wealthy family and Foshan's only practitioner of the martial art form known as Wing Chun. 4. Lynn Hung as Chum Wing Sing, IP Man's wife. 4. Hiroyuki Ikuchi as General Miura, Japanese, Rikugun Taisho Miura / Sanpu Janjuan, an abusive Japanese general and karate expert, who is eager to assert the dominance of his native traditions over those of the Chinese. 4. Tenma Shibuya as Colonel Sato, Japanese, Rikugun Taisa Sato / Zoding Shanxiao, a sadistic, cruel Japanese colonel and Miura's second-in-command. Gordon Lam as Li Chu, simplified Chinese, traditional Chinese, Pinyin, Li Zhao, a police officer and IP Man's acquaintance. He becomes a translator for the Japanese officers when they occupy Foshan despite being labeled a traitor by his neighbors. 4. Fan Suwang as Jin Shanchao, an aggressive northern martial artist who comes to Foshan to challenge other masters, hoping to set up a school and climb out of poverty. When the Japanese invade, he forms a gang of bandits and is eventually chased out of Foshan by IP Man. 4. Simon Yan as Zhou Qinchuan, a businessman and IP Man's acquaintance who borrows money from him to set up a cotton mill. 4. Xin Yu as Lin, Wuqi Lin, the first son of a restaurant owner in Foshan, a gifted martial artist and IP Man's closest friend. 4. Wang Yunam as Yuan, the second son of a restaurant owner in Foshan who causes a lot of trouble and often fights with his brother. 4. Calvin Ching as Chao Kangyu, the son of the cotton mill owner, who is interested in learning Kung Fu from IP Man. 4. Qin Zhihui as Master Liao Shifu, a martial arts master of Foshan who turns to prize fighting when the Japanese invade to support himself. Sato kills him when he tries to claim a reward despite forfeiting a match. 4. Production. We wanted to do this movie because Ip Man was a man who inspired the world and society as a whole. He was a man who believed in certain morals and principles, and we want to use this movie as a platform to convey those values to the audience. For me, that was the most important part of making this movie. Director Wilson Yip on making Ip Man. 5. The idea of an Ip Man biopic originated in 1998 when Jeffrey Lau and Corey Yuen discussed the idea of making a film based on Bruce Lee's martial arts master. However, Paragon Films Ltd., the studio producing the proposed film, closed and the project was abandoned. 6. producer Raymond Wong decided to develop his own Ip Man film with full consent from IP's sons, and had filmmakers head to Foshan to research IP's life. IP Chun, IP Man's eldest son, along with martial arts master Liu Yang, Jun Gao, and several other Wing Chun practitioners served as technical consultants for the film. Principal photography for Ip Man began in March 2008 and ended in August. Filming took place in Shanghai, which was used to architecturally recreate Foshan. During filming, conflicts arose between the producers of Ip Man and filmmaker Wong Kar-wai over the film's working title. Wong, who had been developing his own Ip Man biopic, clashed with the producers after learning that their film would be titled Grandmaster Ip Man, Chinese, which was too similar to the title of Wong's film, The Grandmaster. Ip Man is the first film based on the life of IP Man. It also marks the fourth film collaboration between director Wilson Yip, 4, and actor Donnie Yen, 4. The two also reunite with co-star Simon Yam after 2005's SPL, Sha Palang. The screenplay for Ip Man was written by Edmund Wong, 4, the son of film producer Raymond Wong, 4. Wong was the screenwriter of Yip and Yen's second collaboration, 2006's Dragon Tiger Gate. IP Man's eldest son, IP Chun, his student Liu Yang, 7, and Chongquan gold medalist Tu Yu Heng served as technical consultants for the film, providing advice on the film's story and martial arts choreography. The music for the film was provided by veteran Japanese composer Kenji Kawai, who also served as a composer on the 2006 film, Dragon Tiger Gate, which featured Wilson Yip and Donnie Yen as director and actor respectively. 8. Pre-production. The film was originally conceived in 1998 when Jeffrey Lau and Corey Yuen first thought of the idea of making a film based on IP Man's life. Donnie Yen signed on to the project, hoping to star as IP, with Stephen Chow co-starring as Bruce Lee. Yen had signed the contract and received part of the acting fee. However, the studio producing the film closed, and the project was abandoned. 6. In December 2007, plans to make a new Ip Man film were announced, with the filmmakers researching IP's life in Foshan. Producer Raymond Wong stated that the film would take on a similar look and feel to SPL, Sha Palang, 9. On February 26, 2008, a press conference for the film was held in Foshan, where it was announced that Wilson Yip would be directing the film, while Yen would appear in the leading role as IP. Lynn Hum, Lam Khatum, Simon Yam were announced to be appearing in supporting roles, while Sammo Hung would serve as the film's martial arts choreographer. 10. Casting director Zhang Yanbin spent 3 months casting actors in various roles for the film. He had completed casting during principal photography in March 2008. 11. Filming. Principal photography for Ip Man began in March 2008, and was completed by the end of August. A majority of the film focuses on events surrounding Ip Man that took place in Foshan in the 1930s and 1940s during the Sino-Japanese War. Since the buildings in modern-day Foshan are architecturally different from the ones of the film's period, the filmmakers decided to shoot the film in Shanghai. 10. 12. Filming first took place in a storeroom in the industrial district of Shanghai. Having difficulties scouting a cotton factory suitable for shooting, set designers decided to recreate one in the style of the 1930s. They spent weeks transforming an abandoned storeroom into the Zhenhua Cotton Mill Factory, a 1930s cotton mill factory founded by IP's friend Chao Chin-chun, played in the film by Simon Yam, during the Sino-Japanese War. It was where Ip Man first taught Wing Chun openly to the public. 13. Production designer Kenneth Mack included Western elements in his design, since Foshan, in earlier years, was a unique place where Chinese and Western cultures converged. Pillars were made to resemble English lampposts, and Western lighting, chairs, and tableware were also used. To convey the culture and feel of the time, the buildings were made to look obsolete and worn out. Apart from historical references, Mack also created a glass house which was used in a scene in the film. 13. Stunts and choreography. His biggest achievement lies in playing a true historical figure. Unlike fictitious characters he had been doing in the past, he'd have to try his best to understand the thoughts of Yip Man, to be him, and to fit in within the past. Director Wilson Yip on Donnie Yen being cast as Yip Man. 10. The martial arts choreography was designed by Sammo Hung and veteran fight and stunt coordinator Tony Myung-soo Hung. Hung had previously collaborated with Wilson Yip and Donnie Yen as an actor in the 2005 film SPL, Sha Palang. 14. He was hired as the choreographer mainly because of his experience on the 1978 film Warriors 2 and 1982's The Prodigal Son, both of which involved Wing Chun. 5. When asked how he would work with Yen to direct the action scenes, Hung replied matter-of-factly, "With my mouth." 10. Yen described the role as the most emotionally and mentally difficult in his career. 5. He spent months preparing for the role by going on a strict diet which consisted of eating one meal a day, training in Wing Chun, and learning more about Ip Man through his two sons. This was all in the hopes of portraying an erudite and cultured Ip Man, as well as bringing out the special traits of Wing Chun. 15. Yen even went as far as to stay in character after filming, wearing his costume and changing his voice and movement patterns. 5. While rehearsing a fight scene, Yen was reportedly injured when an axe wielder accidentally slashed the side of his left eye. 16. Yen also had a masseur on set as he could not raise his right shoulder due to an injury. 12. Japanese actor Hiroyuki Ikuchi, who holds a black belt in judo, found it difficult working under Hung's command. In one scene, he suffered a mild concussion after receiving 4 consecutive blows from celebrated fight coordinator Edward Sweckel Chan. 17. Hung later praised Yen and Ikuchi's performances in the film, even though Ikuchi was not trained in Chinese martial arts and was not given a lot of complex moves. 12. Film title controversy. Ip Man's original title was controversial. It was disputed when film director Wong Kar-wai announced plans to make his own Ip Man film with Tony Leung-chiu-wai while filming 2046. Wong had planned his own Ip Man biopic titled The Great Master, with Leung playing the role of Ip. Wong's film, however, had been in development having been announced several years earlier. Producer Raymond Wong wanted to name his film Grandmaster Yip Man, which bore a resemblance to the title Wong Kar-wai wanted to use for his film. 18. To settle the dispute, Raymond Wong publicly retracted the film title, stating, "Actually, all along, we have called our film Yip Man, but our mainland investors said that Yip Man was a great master of his times, so we changed our title to Grandmaster Yip Man out of respect for him." 19. In a 2008 interview, Raymond Wong revealed that The Great Master was in development. 20. Wong Kar-wai's Yip Man film, titled The Grand Master, was released on January 8, 2013 in China. Release. Yip Man premiered in Beijing, China on December 10, 2008, only 2 days prior to its release in China. 21. 22. The film was later released in Malaysia, Singapore, and New Zealand on December 18, 2008, 1 day prior to its release date in Hong Kong. 23. The film was released in the United Kingdom on 2 October 2009. 24. In 2010, Mandarin Films sold North American distribution rights for the film to distributor Walgo USA. 25. Reception. Prior to its theatrical release in China, Yip Man held a test screening in Beijing on December 4, 2008. The film was highly praised, based on survey sheets returned by the audience. Donnie Yen's portrayal of Ip Man was repeatedly hailed as the year's best performance. High praise was also given to the film's co-stars, Fan Su-won, Lam Ka-tung, and Lynn, 26. Ip Man also received positive reactions from film critics. Salon's Andrew O'Heir deemed Ip Man a well-paced and satisfying piece of Chinese nationalist pulp, referring to the film's heavy anti-Japanese sentiment. 27. Derek Kelly of Variety magazine wrote in his review, Yen, who's taking on real star charisma in middle age, is aces as IP, with a simple dignity that exactly mirrors the movie's own and a gracefulness in combat that's very different from his trademark whiplash style. 28. Malaysian film critic Lim Chong Mo of the Malay Mail awarded the film 3 stars out of 4, writing that the film was nicely balanced with great martial arts action and an engaging narrative. 29. Lim later placed the film at number 6 in his list of top 10 movies of 2008. 30. Jen Ogilvy of 14 Times wrote, "What carries Ip Man is its dramatic charge. It is the story's entanglement in the real horrors of Japanese occupation that pulls the viewer in and builds tension into the fight scenes." 31. The review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes reported that 86% of critics have given the film a positive review based on 28 reviews, with an average rating of June 6, 10. The site's critics' consensus reads, "At once beholden to the established conventions of the genre and delightfully subversive of them, Ip Man is one of the most exciting and refreshingly character-driven martial arts films in years." 32. At Metacritic, the film has a weighted average score of 59 out of 100 based on 9 critics, indicating mixed or average reviews. 33. Fact and fiction. The film was never meant to be a true biographical film to Ip Man's life, but to broadly touch on the elements from his life. Most of the central turns of the plot are there only for the purpose of making a movie more exciting, including the scenes depicting duels between Ip Man and the Japanese, including Consul General Miura Yoshiaki, as well as Ip Man encountering hardship during the Second Sino-Japanese War. 34. Ip Man's eldest son, Ip Chun, would have preferred the film to be shot on location in Foshan and noted the mansion was grander than the original one. 35. Box office. Ip Man grossed 14,948,157 yen, $2,188,982 on its opening weekend in China. 36. The film's revenues increased in the second week by 86.1%, grossing 27,812,224 yen, $4,073,201 to retain second place at the box office. 37. The film experienced a small decrease in revenue in its third weekend, dropping 10.5% to 24,889,189 yen, $3,645,112, though remaining in second place. 38. Ip Man continued to decrease in revenue, grossing 19,956,454 yen, $2,922,695 in its fourth week while staying in second place. 39. After 6 weeks of theatrical release, Ip Man grossed a total of 93,740,529 yen, $13,728,640. 40. The film was China's 13th highest-grossing film of 2008. 41. Fail verification. During its opening weekend in Hong Kong, Ip Man came in first place at the box office, grossing 4.5 million Hong Kong dollars, $579,715. 42. In its second week, Ip Man moved to second place, while grossing 6,156,765 Hong Kong dollars, $789,303 US, with a 36.2% increase in revenue. 43. The film continued to decrease in revenue in its third week, grossing 3,494,366 Hong Kong dollars, $447,981, while staying in second place at the box office. 44. Ip Man moved to third place in its fourth week, grossing 2,075,250 Hong Kong dollars, $266,055. 45. After 7 weeks of theatrical release in Hong Kong, Ip Man had grossed 25,581,958 Hong Kong dollars and 69 cents, $3,300,847 US, domestically. 46. The film ranks as the 8th highest grossing film in Hong Kong of 2008. 47. In total, the film had grossed $22,108,789 worldwide, despite not being released in North America and most of Europe. 48. Home media. Ip Man was released on DVD and Blu-ray formats on February 13, 2009. Releases include single disc, 49, and 2-disc special edition formats, 50. Features for the special edition include deleted scenes, a making-of featurette, a theatrical trailer, interviews with director Wilson Yip and actor Donnie Yen, and featurettes on both Ip Man and Wing Chun martial arts. Ip Man was released on DVD and Blu-ray in the United States on 27 July 2010. 51. A 3-disc deluxe collector's edition was released in China, but only contains Mandarin-dubbed soundtracks and no English subtitles. 52. In the United Kingdom, Ip Man was 2011's 7th best-selling foreign-language film on physical home video formats, and the 2nd best-selling Chinese film, below Ip Man 2. 53. Ip Man is the first film in a tetralogy. Donnie Yen reprised the lead role in the sequel Ip Man 2, the second feature film based on the life of Ip Man. The film focuses on Ip's movements in Hong Kong as he attempts to propagate his discipline of Wing Chun martial arts. At the end, it also briefly introduces a young Bruce Lee prior to becoming one of Ip's most famed disciples. Ip Man 2 was released theatrically in Hong Kong in late April 2010. Lynn Hung and Fan Suan reprise their supporting roles, while martial arts choreographer Sammo Hung appears as a master of Hung Jie martial arts. Yen expressed his lack of interest in making a third film, feeling that Ip Man 2 will incontrovertibly become a classic, bettering the first. 58. Yen later stated that after Ip Man 2, he would no longer be involved in a film based on Ip's life. 59. While both Donnie Yen and Raymond Wong were not keen on making a third Ip Man film, director Wilson Yip expressed interest in making one that would focus on the relationship between Ip and Bruce Lee. While Ip Man 2 very briefly shows Lee as a child, Yip hoped to find a suitable actor to portray Lee as an adult for the third installment. 60. In January 2014, Variety reported that Ip Man 3 would begin shooting in 2015, with Donnie Yen reprising his role as Ip Man and Wilson Yip returning to direct. The film was initially scheduled for a late 2015 release, 61, 62, but eventually it was released in early 2016. Ip Man 4 was released in 2019. Yen again plays the lead role, with Yip as director and Kwok Kwan-chan as Bruce Lee. Martial arts films are a subgenre of action films that feature martial arts combat between characters. These combats are usually the film's primary appeal and entertainment value, and often are a method of storytelling and character expression and development. Martial arts are frequently featured in training scenes and other sequences in addition to fights. Martial arts films commonly include hand-to-hand combat along with other types of action, such as stunt work, chases, and gunfights. 1, 2, 3. Subgenres of martial arts films include kung fu films, wuxia, karate films, and martial arts action comedy films, while related genres include gunfu, tadajiki, and samurai films. Notable actors who have contributed to the genre include Bruce Lee, Jet Li, Jackie Chan, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Tony Jaa, Sammo Hung, Chuck Norris, Toshiro Mifune, Donnie Yen, Gordon Liu, Robin Shou, and Wesley Snipes, among others. 4. Women have also played key roles in the genre, including such actresses as Chin Pei, Michelle Yeoh, Angela Mao, John Zi, Josephine Seal, Cynthia Rothra, and Kwasi Chuan. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. History. The first ever martial arts film was a Chinese film released in 1928, The Burning of the Red Lotus Temple, also translated as The Burning of the Red Lotus Monastery, a silent film directed by Chinese film director Zhang Shichuan and produced by the Mingxin Film Company. 10. The film pioneered the martial arts film genre and was the first kung fu action film ever created. The film is based on the popular Chinese novel, The Romance of the Red Lotus Temple, which is set in the Qin dynasty and tells the story of a group of martial artists who band together to defend their temple from raiders. The film is notable for its action sequences and fight scenes, which were groundbreaking for the time and helped establish the martial arts film genre. 11. Beginning in 1950 with Akira Kurosawa's Rashomon, starring Toshiro Mifune, Japanese cinema produced a number of samurai films. 12. These films influenced the subsequent Hong Kong kung fu films of Bruce Lee. Asian films are known to have a more minimalist approach to film based on their culture. Some martial arts films have only a minimal plot and amount of character development and focus almost exclusively on the action, while others have more creative and complex plots and characters along with action scenes. 13. Films of the latter type are generally considered to be artistically superior films, but many films of the former type are commercially successful and well received by fans of the genre. 14. 15. One of the earliest Hollywood movies to employ the use of martial arts was the 1955 film Bad Day at Black Ra, though the scenes of Spencer Tracy performed barely any realistic fight sequences, but composed mostly of soft knife hand strikes. 16, 17, 18, 19. Martial arts films contain many characters who are martial artists, and these roles are often played by actors who are real martial artists. If not, actors frequently train in preparation for their roles, or the action director may rely more on stylized action or filmmaking tricks like camera angles, editing, doubles, undercranking, wire work, and computer-generated imagery. Trampolines and springboards used to be used to increase the height of jumps. The minimalist style employs smaller sets and little space for improvised but explosive fight scenes, as seen by Jackie Chan's films. 20. These techniques are sometimes used by real martial artists as well, depending on the style of action in the film. 1. According to the New York Times, in the 1960s Jimmy Wan Yu was the biggest star of Asian martial arts cinema until the emergence of Bruce Lee. 21. During the 1970s and 1980s, the most visible presence of martial arts films was the hundreds of English-dubbed kung fu and ninja films produced by the Shaw Brothers, Godfrey Ho, and other Hong Kong producers. These films were widely broadcast on North American television on weekend time slots that were often colloquially known as Kung Fu Theater, Black Belt Theater, or variations thereof. Inclusive in this list of films are commercial classics like The Big Boss, 1971, Drunken Master, 1978, and One-Armed Boxer, 1972. Those films had a large impact on the spread of practice of traditional Chinese and Japanese martial arts in English-speaking countries. 22. Martial arts films have been produced all over the world, but the genre has been dominated by Hong Kong action cinema, peaking from 1971 with the rise of Bruce Lee until the mid-1990s with a general decline in the industry, until it was revived close to the 2000s. 23. Other notable figures in the genre include Jackie Chan, Jet Li, Sammo Hung, Yuan Biao, Donnie Yen, and Huang Jianli. Sonny Chiba, Atsuko Shihomi, and Hiroyuki Sanada starred in numerous karate and jidaigeki films from Japan during the 1970s and early 1980s. Hollywood has also participated in the genre with actors such as Chuck Norris, Sho Kosugi, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal, Brandon Lee, son of Bruce Lee, Wesley Snipes, Gary Daniels, Mark Dacascos, and Jason Statham. 24. According to the American Film Institute, the success of Bloodsport, 1988, starring Van Damme, helped the resurgence of the martial arts film genre in the United States. 25. According to Van Damme, the film helped give the martial arts genre a boost but also foretold certain things like the Ultimate Fighting Championship and the idea of pitting different styles against each other. 26. In the 2000s, Thailand's film industry became an international force in the genre with the films of Tony Jaa, 27, and the cinema of Vietnam followed suit with The Rebel, 2007, and Clash, 2009. In more recent years, the Indonesian film industry has offered Maranta, 2009, 28, 29, 30, and The Raid, Redemption, 2011. The Middle East has also participated in the genre with actors such as Youssef Mansour, who became famous in the 1990s for his Egyptian films that relied on martial arts. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. Women have also played key roles in the genre, including such actresses as Chin Pei Pei, Michelle Yeoh, Angela Mao, John Z, Josephine Seal, Cynthia Rothra, and Kwasi Archuan. 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. In addition, Western animation has ventured into the genre with the most successful effort being the internationally hailed DreamWorks animation film franchise Kung Fu Panda, starring Jack Black and Angelina Jolie. The Matrix, 1999, whose fight scenes were choreographed by Hong Kong fight choreographer Yuan Wu-ping, is considered revolutionary in American cinema for raising the standard of fight scenes in Western cinema. 44. Subgenres. In the Chinese-speaking world, martial arts films are commonly divided into two subcategories, the wuxia period films, and the more modern kung fu films, best epitomized in the films of Bruce Lee. 45. However, according to Hong Kong film director, producer, and movie writer Ronnie Yu, wuxia movies are not to be confused with martial arts movies. 46. Kung fu films are a significant movie genre in themselves. Like westerns for Americans, they have become an identity of Chinese cinema. As the most prestigious movie type in Chinese film history, kung fu movies were among the first Chinese films produced, and the wuxia period films are the original form of Chinese kung fu films. The wuxia period films came into vogue due to the thousands of years' popularity of wuxia novels. For example, the wuxia novels of Jin Yong, 47, and Gu Long, 48, directly led to the prevalence of wuxia period films. Outside of the Chinese-speaking world, the most famous wuxia film made was the Ang Lee film Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, 2000, which was based on the Wang Dula series of wuxia novels. It earned 4 Academy Awards, including one for Best Foreign Film. Martial arts westerns are usually American films inexpensively filmed in southwestern United States locations, transposing martial arts themes into an Old West setting, e.g., Red Sun with Charles Bronson and Toshiro Mifune. Ip Man was born as Ip Kaiman to Ip Odor and Ning Shui as the third of his parents' 4 children. He grew up in a wealthy family in Foshan, Fakshan, Guangdong, Kwangtung, and received a traditional Chinese education alongside his elder brother Ip Kaiga, elder sister Ip Wanmei, and younger sister Ip Wanhum. 3. Ip started learning Wing Chun from Chan Washan when he was 9, 4, or 13, 5, 6. Chan was 57 at the time, and Ip became Chan's 16th and last student, 7, 8. Due to Chan's age, he was able to train Ip for only 3 years before suffering a mild stroke in 1909 and retiring to his village. Ip learned most of his skills and techniques from Chan's second most senior student, in Chunsak. 9. At the age of 16, with help from his relative, Liang Fukting, Ip moved to Hong Kong and attended school at St. Stephen's College, by then a secondary school for wealthy families and foreigners living in Hong Kong. 6 months after moving to Hong Kong, a classmate of Ip's named Lai told him that a friend of Lai's father who was an expert in kung fu techniques was living with them, and had offered to have a friendly sparring match with Ip. 10. At the time, Ip was undefeated, so he eagerly accepted the challenge. He went to Lai's house on a Sunday afternoon and, after exchanging brief pleasantries, challenged the man to a duel. The man was Liang Bik and he easily overwhelmed Ip Man, incredulous at the speed with which he had been countered. Ip requested a second duel and was beaten again, just as soundly. 10. Discouraged by his defeat, Ip left without a word and afterwards was so depressed that he did not dare mention that he knew kung fu. A week later, Lai told him that the man he had fought was asking after him. Ip replied that he was too embarrassed to return, at which point Lai told him that Liang Bik had highly praised his kung fu techniques and that he was the son of Liang Jian, who trained Ip's master, Chan Washan. Ip proceeded to train with Liang Bik, 10, until Liang's death in 1911. 11. Ip returned to Foshan in 1916 when he was 24 and became a police officer there for the nationalist government. 3. He taught Wing Chun to several of his subordinates, friends, and relatives, but did not officially run a martial arts school. Noted students of this time were Lok Yu, Chao Kuanyue, Kwok Fu, Luan Ka, Chan Chi-sun, and Lu Ying. Chao Kuanyue was regarded as the most talented of Ip's Foshan students, but he devoted himself to trade and abandoned the martial arts. Kwok Fu and Luan Ka began teaching and spreading the art of Wing Chun in the Foshan and Guangdong region. Chan Chi-sun and Lu Ying moved to Hong Kong, but neither accepted students. Ip married Chung Winsing and they had several children, sons Ip Chun and Ip Ching, and daughters Ip Nasum and Ip Nawan. 12. Additional citations needed. During the Second Sino-Japanese War, Ip Man sided with Kuomintang during the conflict. 13. What Ip Man did during the war remains unclear. It is rumored that he had joined the Central Bureau of Investigation and Statistics in its academy in Guizhou in 1938, after which he would have returned to Foshan as an undercover intelligence officer. However, the veracity of this has been disputed. 14. Need quotation to verify. It is believed Ip went to live with Kwok Fu during the war and only returned to Foshan at the end of the war. After the war, Ip Man served for a few years as captain of the Foshan police patrols. Ip found some time to train his second son, Ip Ching, during the year 1949. At the end of 1949, after the Chinese Communist Party won the Chinese Civil War, as IP was a member of the Kuomintang. IP, his wife and their elder daughter, IP Nasum, left Foshan for Hong Kong. 15. Life in Hong Kong. IP, his wife Chun, and their daughter arrived in Hong Kong through Macau in 1950. Citation needed. His wife and daughter later returned to Foshan to retrieve their identity cards. Due to the closure of borders between China and Hong Kong in 1951, IP and Chung were separated for good, with Chung remaining in Foshan until her death. After having moved to Hong Kong, the 56-year-old man struggled with unemployment. IP's only prior experience was as a policeman in Foshan, but he was either unable or refused to join the Hong Kong police force. IP's friends were able to help him get a job at a restaurant, where he would make new associates via the Hong Kong Restaurant Workers Association. The association also had a club for martial artists, led by Leung Shum, but Ip Man didn't want others to know that he was a martial artist. 16, 17. IP is known to have been addicted to opium, and after moving to Hong Kong, he was able to buy it on the black market. Opium was very expensive at the time, so IP had to earn a steady income to smoke opium while supporting his family in Foshan. 18, 19. IP began teaching Wing Chun in the early 1950s to escape poverty and to allegedly feed his opium addiction. 19, 20, 21, 22. His earliest students consisted mainly of poor and uneducated members of the Restaurant Workers Association. 16, and restless and angry young men, who were attracted to IP Man's charismatic personality and the prospect of getting tougher in order to survive the dangerous environment of 1950s Hong Kong. 23, 24. Initially, IP Man's teaching business was poor in Hong Kong because IP's students typically stayed for only a couple of months. He moved his school twice, first to Castle Peak Road in Sham Shui Pa, and then to Lee Tat Street in Yau Ma Ti Bai, where only a few of his former students follow and continue to train under. One of the notable students was Grandmaster Chao Tse Chung, 25, the teacher of Sifu Donald Mack, 26. By then, some of his students had attained proficiency in Wing Chun and were able to start their own schools. They went on and sparred with other martial artists to compare their skills, and their victories helped to increase IP's fame. Around 1955, he had a mistress from Shanghai, who was referred to by his students simply as Shanghai Pup. IP and this mistress had an extramarital son named IP Shuhua. In Foshan, his wife Chun died of cancer in 1960. IP never formally introduced his mistress to his other sons, who eventually arrived in Hong Kong to reunite with him in 1962. 27. IP Man's gravestone on Wu Tip Shan, Fanling, Hong Kong. IP died on December 2, 1972, in his unit at 149 Tung Choi Street in Hong Kong. 1. From laryngeal cancer, only 7 months before the death of Bruce Lee, his most famous student. 34. He was buried at Wahop Shek, Hong Kong. IP's notable students include Chu Shom Tin, Lok Yu, Wang Shunliang, Bruce Lee, Roy Yak, Jiu Wan, Ho Kem Main, Victor Kan, Lo Man Kam, William Chung, IP Ching, IP Chun, and Leung Ting. 10. IP wrote a history of Wing Chun. 35. Many artifacts of his life are on display in the Ip Man Museum on the Foshan Ancestral Temple grounds. Ip Man is portrayed in many films based on his life. 36. Ip Man, a Hong Kong film starring Donnie Yen as the martial artist, was released in 2008. The film takes a number of liberties with IP's life, often for dramatic effect. IP's eldest son, IP Chun, appears in the film and served as a consultant on the production, which focuses on IP's life during the 1930s to the 1940s, during the Second Sino-Japanese War. The sequel, Ip Man 2 focused on high-peace beginnings in Hong Kong and his students, including Bruce Lee. Ip Man has taught many other people. Amid a surge of Ip Man-related film projects in production, Donnie Yen told the Chinese media in March 2010 that after Ip Man 2, he would no longer play the Wing Chun master, stating, "I would never ever touch any films related to Ip Man. This will be my final film on the subject." Whenever something becomes a success, everyone would jump on the bandwagon. This is very frightening. Did you know how many Ip Man films are in production? Under such condition, we would not progress, it'd only lead to oversaturation of the subject matter. 40. Another Hong Kong film based on Ip Man's life, called The Legend is Born, Ip Man, was released in June 2010. Herman Yao directed the film and it starred Dennis Tu as Ip Man and 17 bands when Jun Hui as his younger counterpart. Ip Chun makes a special appearance in the film as Leon Bick. In the 2010 film, Bruce Lee, My Brother, Ip Man was portrayed by Wong Chi-wai. Wong Kar-wai's The Grandmaster stars Tony Leon as Ip Man. The film focuses more on the end of an era in Chinese martial arts history as the Second Sino-Japanese War broke out. It was created in an almost biographical style, highlighting parts of history. In contrast with other Ip Man-related projects, The Grandmaster is a more reflective film, focusing more on the musings and philosophies between martial arts and life, as well as Ip Man's journey through the early 1930s to the early 1950s. The 2013 Chinese television series of Man, based on Ip Man's life, was first aired on the television network Shandong TV from late February to mid-March 2013. It was directed by Fan Xiaotian and starred Kevin Cheng as the eponymous character and Zhou Jianan as the younger counterpart. The 2013 Hong Kong film, Ip Man, The Final Fight, directed by Herman Yao and starring Anthony Wong as Ip Man, focuses on Ip's later life in Hong Kong. Kevin Chen from the 2013 television series Ip Man made a guest appearance as young Ip Man. Ip Chun made a cameo appearance in the film. This film also focuses on the loyalty of Ip Man's students towards their master. Despite Yen's statement in March 2010 that he no longer wanted to be involved in future films related to Ip Man, a new film to the same series, Ip Man 3, was released on December 24, 2015, with Yen once again reprising his role as Ip Man, 41. In the 2018 action comedy film Kung Fu Lee, Dennis Tu returned in the role of Ip Man, with 3 other martial artists, Wang Feiheng, Huiyuan Jia, and Chen Zhen, whisked through time to teach martial arts to a modern-day comic book artist caught in a love triangle. Later in the movie, he reveals he's actually an imposter, Ip Man. In the 2019 film, Ip Man and Four Kings, he was portrayed by Michael Tong. In this film, he must fight the Four Kings before he can confront a human trafficking ring and avenge the death of one of his students. In the 2019 film, Ip Man, Kung Fu Master, Dennis Tu reprised the role again as Ip Man, set during his time as a police officer in Guangzhou, before the start of the Chinese Communist Revolution in 1949. Donnie Yen reprised his role as Ip Man for the last time in Ip Man 4, which focused on Ip Man coming to San Francisco to find a school for his son as he himself struggled with cancer. 42-43. The film was released on December 20, 2019. The 2022 film, Ip Man, The Awakening, sees a young Ip Man, portrayed by Miao Tse, visiting Hong Kong and becoming involved in stopping a human trafficking ring. Donnie Yen Chitan, Chinese, Jiatbing, January 1, Z2 Don 1, Pinyin, Jin Zaidan, born July 27, 1963, is a Hong Kong actor, filmmaker, martial artist, and action director. 3, 4. His accolades include 3 Golden Horse Awards and 5 Hong Kong Film Awards. He is best known for portraying Wing Chun Grandmaster Ip Man in the Ip Man film series, namely Ip Man, 2008, Ip Man 2, 2010, Ip Man 3, 2015, and Ip Man 4, the finale, 2019. He also served as a co-producer of the spin-off Master Z, Ip Man Legacy, 2018. Born in Guangdong, Yen developed an interest in martial arts at a young age and began experimenting with various styles, including Tai Chi and other traditional Chinese martial arts. At age 18, he auditioned for action choreographer Yuan Wuping in Hong Kong. He landed his first starring role in the 1984 Hong Kong martial arts action film Drunken Tai Chi. He made his breakthrough role as the antagonist General Naplan in Once Upon a Time in China 2, 1992, opposite Jet Li's character. He appeared in several other Hong Kong kung fu films, including Iron Monkey, 1993, and Wing Chun, 1994, Death 5. In 1997, he starred in his directorial debut film Legend of the Wolf. Yen made his American debut in Highlander, Endgame, 2000, followed by a cameo in Blade 2, 2002. He went on to appear in the American films Shanghai Nights, 2003, Rogue One, 2016, Triple X, Return of Xander Cage, 2017, Mulan, 2020, and John Wick, Chapter 4, 2023. 6. He has continued to be active in Hong Kong cinema, appearing in the well-received films Hero, 2002, SPL, Sha Palang, 2005, Flashpoint, 2007, 14 Blades, 2010, Wuxia, 2011, Kung Fu Jungle, 2014, Chasing the Dragon, 2017, Enter the Fat Dragon, 2020, Raging Fire, 2021, and The Prosecutor, 2024, among others. In television, Yen portrayed fictional character Chen Zhen in the television series Fist of Fury, 1995. He reprised the role in the 2010 film Legend of the Fist, The Return of Chen Zhen. For portraying Ip Man in the Ip Man film series, 2008 to 2019, Yen is credited by many for contributing to the popularization of Wing Chun in China. 7. Alongside Kung Fu, particularly Wing Chun, Yen is also known for incorporating mixed martial arts, MMA, elements into his action choreography. Aside from his acting, in 1997, he established his own production company, Bullet Films, which choreographed the action for Western blockbusters like Blade 2, 2002, and Stormbreaker, 2006. Big. Yen was born on July 27, 1963 in Guangzhou, Guangdong, China. His mother, Bao Sim Mark, is a Fu-style Wudanquan, internal martial arts, and Tai Chi grandmaster, while his father, Kleister Yen, was a newspaper editor. 9. When he was 2 years old, his family moved to Hong Kong and then to the United States when he was 11 years old, settling in Boston. 10. He attended Newton North High School. 11. Non-primary source needed. His younger sister, Chris Yen, is also a martial artist and actress, and appeared in the 2007 film Adventures of Johnny Tao, Rock Around the Dragon. At a young age, under the influence of his mother, Yen developed an interest in martial arts and began experimenting with various styles, including Tai Chi and other traditional Chinese martial arts. 12. At age 16, his parents sent him to Beijing to train with the Beijing Wushu team. 12. At age 18, when Yen was returning to the United States to visit his family, he made a stop in Hong Kong, where he met and auditioned for action choreographer Yuan Wuping. 12. Yen comes from a family of musicians. His mother is a soprano, In addition to being a martial arts teacher in Boston, while his father is a violinist, 13, from a young age, he was taught by his parents to play musical instruments, including the piano, 14, 15. Career beginnings to the 1990s. Yen's first step into the film industry was when he landed his first starring role in the 1984 film Drunken Tai Chi after filming Drunken Tai Chi and Tiger Cage, 1988. Yen made his breakthrough role as General Naplan in Once Upon a Time in China 2, 1992, which included a fight scene between his character and Wong Fei-hung, portrayed by Jet Li. 12. Yen had a starring role in the film Iron Monkey in 1993. Yen and Li appeared together again in the 2002 film Hero, where Yen played a spear, or Chan, fighter who fought with Li's character, an unnamed swordsman. 12. The film was nominated for Best Foreign Language Film at the 2003 Academy Awards. In 1995, Yen starred as Qin Zhen in the television series Fist of Fury produced by ATV, which is adapted from the 1972 film of the same title that starred Bruce Lee as Qin Zhen. Yen reprised his role as Qin Zhen in the 2010 film Legend of the Fist, The Return of Qin Zhen, by replacing Lee, who starred as Qin Zhen in the prequel film Fist of Legend, which was released in 1994. In 1997, Yen started the production company Bullet Films, and made his directorial debut, 16, in Legend of the Wolf, 1997, and Ballistic Kiss, 1998, in which she played the lead character. At age 34, Yen almost went bankrupt. Films produced by his own production company and directed by him were critically acclaimed but did not do well at the box office. Yen was forced to borrow money from loan sharks and his production crew to get by. 2000s, breakthrough success. Yen in Seoul in 2005. Yen went back to the United States, where he was invited to choreograph fight scenes in Hollywood films, such as Highlander, Endgame, 2000, and Blade 2, 2002. His choreography and skills impressed the directors, and they invited him for cameo appearances in both films. 17. In 2002, Lee was filming Hero and insisted to director Jean Yimou that he wanted Yen to play the role of Sky, his adversary, due to Yen's martial arts ability. Lee personally invited Yen back from Hollywood to star in the film, marking the second time the two actors appeared on screen together since Once Upon a Time in China 2 10 years earlier back in 1992. 18. In 2003, Yen portrayed antagonist Wu Chao opposite Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson in Shanghai Nights. Yen choreographed most of the fight animation in the 2004 video game Onimusha 3, which featured actors Takashi Kaneshiro and Jean Reno. Yen continued to be active in Hong Kong cinema in the 2000s, starring as Chu Xiaonan in Sui Hark's wuxia epic film Seven Swords, and as Ma Koum in Wilson Yip's brutal crime drama film SPL, Sha Palang in 2005. Both films were featured at the 2005 Toronto International Film Festival. Later that year, Yen co-starred with Nicholas Tsay and Sean Yu in Wilson Yip's Dragon Tiger Gate, an adaptation of Wang Yeklong's manhwa series Oriental Heroes. Yen worked as action choreographer in Stormbreaker, starring Alex Pettyfer. Yen continued to work with Wilson Yip in Flashpoint, 2007, in which he starred as the lead character and served as producer and action choreographer for the film. He won the award for Best Action Choreography at the Golden Horse Film Awards and the Hong Kong Film Awards for his performance in Flashpoint. In 2008, Yen starred in Ip Man, a semi-biographical account of Ip Man, the Wing Chun master of Bruce Lee. Ip Man marked Yen's fourth collaboration with director Wilson Yip, reuniting him with his co-stars in SPL, Sha Palang, Sammo Hung and Simon Yam. Ip Man became the biggest box office hit to date, featuring Yen in the leading role, grossing 25 million Hong Kong dollars in Hong Kong and 100 million yuan in China. Yen had the New York Film Festival in 2012. In 2010, Ip Man 2 was released. Similar to the first film, it was directed by Wilson Yip. In August 2011, while Yen was on a vacation with his family in the United States, he reportedly received an invitation by producer Avi Lerner to star in The Expendables 2. It was stated that Yen was considering the offer, had many films at hand, and would wait until deciding whether the script appealed to him. 21. Later on, Yen revealed to the Hong Kong media that he had rejected the role. 22. In 2011, Yen revealed that he was venturing into other genres of films and had taken up 2 comedy roles in a row, in All's Well, Ends Well 2011 and All's Well, Ends Well 2012, and would be working with Carina Lau in the former and Sandra Ng in the latter. Both films were critical and box office successes. Yen took a 6-month break in the second half of 2011 after the filming of The Monkey King, where he portrayed the title character and main protagonist Sun Ryukang, replacing Li once again, in which the film was released during the Chinese New Year period in January 2014. 24. He explained that he wanted to spend more time with his family and be with his children more as they grew up. In 2012, Yen returned to the movie industry and commenced the filming of Special ID, in which she played the main lead, an undercover cop, and also took on the role of action choreographer. In 2013, it was reported that Yen would be playing the lead role for Iceman, a sci-fi action film dealing with time travel and which was filmed in 3D. Yen confirmed that MMA would be used in both of the aforementioned films. 25. In February 2013, the Weinstein Company confirmed that it had purchased the rights to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Sword of Destiny and contacted Yen to play the male lead. In March 2013, Hong Kong Magazine surfaced photos of Harvey and Bob Weinstein traveling to Hong Kong to meet with Yen and persuade him to accept the offer. It was reported that Yen was considering the role and quoted as saying, "The first is that my schedule this year is very packed. The second is that the first film is already such a classic. I am afraid of the pressure, that the original cannot be surpassed." 26. In May 2013, during the annual Cannes Film Festival, the Weinstein Company announced that Yen would play the lead role of Silent Wolf in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Sword of Destiny, alongside leading female action star Michelle Yeoh reprising her role as Yu Shulin, and with director Yuan Wuping, Yen's mentor. It was revealed that the movie would be filmed in both English and Mandarin to appeal to the international market. 27. It was revealed during the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon 2 press conference that the Weinstein Company had obtained rights to Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai, was planning a remake and was negotiating with Yen, George Clooney, and Zhang Ziyi to star in the film. 28. 29. Yen declined the offer due to scheduling conflicts for the filming of Ip Man 3. Yen earned 220 million Hong Kong dollars, $28.4 million US dollars, from 4 films and 6 advertisements in 2013. 30. In late March 2015, Ip Man 3 was announced. Yen reprised his role as the titular character Ip Man, Bruce Lee's Wing Chun master. Retired boxer and former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson was confirmed to join the cast. 31. Yen mentioned that he was a big fan of Tyson, watched many of his professional boxing bouts, and was excited to work with him. Tyson stated during a press conference that he was a huge fan of Yen and has watched Ip Man and Ip Man 2 more than 3 times each and was honored to be invited for the final installment of the trilogy. 32. Principal photography for Ip Man 3 began on March 25, 2015, and the finished film was released in December 2015 in parts of Asia and around the world in early 2016 to generally favorable reviews. Yen in February 2018. In 2016, Yen co-starred in the Star Wars anthology film Rogue One as Churik Imwe, the Zatoichi-like blind transient warrior. 33. On February 12, 2016, it was confirmed that Yen would once again replace Lee for the third time as Seong in the upcoming action film XXX, Return of Xander Cage, after Legend of the Fist. The return of Chen Zhen in 2010 and the Monkey Ting in 2014. 34, 35, non-primary source needed. 36, 37, for the promotion of XXX, Return of Xander Cage, Paramount-focused marketing. Efforts on Yen in China and most parts of Asia, placing him at the front of the film posters ahead of Vin Diesel, and shared clips and reviews of Yen's performance in the movie on the popular Chinese social media site Weibo. 38. Paramount's efforts worked very well in China. The film was number one in its opening weekend with $61.90 million, 39, and crossed the $100 million mark in just 6 days with $22.2 million coming from Valentine's Day alone after rave reviews praising Yen's performance swept through Chinese social media, driving moviegoers to the cinema. 40, 41. Yen's performance in both Rogue One and XXX, Return of Xander Cage received positive responses from critics and general audiences. For XXX, Return of Xander Cage, media outlets praised Yen's performance. 42, 43. In the case of Rogue One, Yen's performance was applauded by audiences worldwide. In a poll on the Star Wars webpage, in which more 40,000 people voted, Yen's character Churik Imwe was voted as audience's favorite Rogue One character. 44. While Yen was filming XXX, Return of Xander Cage in Canada, he received offers from Hollywood studios and directors. At the same time, Hong Kong director Wong Jing personally flew to Canada to invite Yen to star in his film Chasing the Dragon, a remake of the film to be number one. Yen eventually accepted the offer and played a non-traditional role of a villain with limited fighting scenes and the opportunity to work alongside Andy Lau. In September 2017, Chasing the Dragon was released with positive reviews from critics, citing Yen's versatility as an actor and his portrayal of Ng Sek Hull, the main character of the film. 45. Chasing the Dragon was a hit with audiences in most parts of Asia. In Hong Kong, Chasing the Dragon is ranked as one of the top 5 Hong Kong films in 2017. 46. In 2017, Yen received a call from Lee and Alibaba CEO Jack Ma about a potential collaboration on a short martial arts film known as Gong Shou Dao, to promote a new form of Tai Chi as an Olympic sport in the future. 47. Yen was on holiday with his wife to celebrate their anniversary, but cancelled his plans to take part in the film. Yen declined any salary for this participation for GSD as he stated that friendship is not measured by money, and that he hopes his participation can help promote Chinese martial arts to worldwide audiences. In return, Lee and Ma surprised Yen and his wife Sissy by helping to celebrate their wedding anniversary on the set. The full GSD 20 minutes short film was released on November 11, China's Singles Day, debuting on Youku and Lee's official Facebook page, garnering a total of more than 100 million views worldwide. 48. Non-primary source needed. Netizens in China praised Yen's speed and technique in the film, with most audiences, over 190,000, voting Yen as the highlight of the short film. 49. In late 2017, Yen began filming Big Brother, a mixed martial arts film where Yen plays a high school teacher with unconventional methods and a dark past. 50. In 2017, a live-action film adaptation of the video game Sleeping Dogs was announced, with Yen playing the lead character Wei Shen, 51. In February 2018, Yen confirmed the continued production of the film through social media, 52. In 2019, Yen reprised his role as Ip Man in Ip Man 4, the finale. During the Hong Kong protests of that year, protesters urged a boycott of the film, citing the pro-Beijing stances of Yen, co-star Danny Chan, and producer Raymond Wong, 53. The film was a box office success, grossing over 3 times its budget of $52 million, 54, 55, and becoming the highest-grossing Chinese film of all time in Malaysia, as well as the third highest-grossing Chinese film in North America in 5 years, 56, 57. In March 2020, as part of the press tour for Disney's live-action remake of Mulan, when Yen was asked by reporters whether he was interested in appearing in a superhero film, Yen revealed that he had been offered a role in Warner Bros. Justice League and Aquaman films by Zack Snyder, but turned it down due to scheduling conflicts. The role offered was that of Nodus Vulko, which eventually went to Willem Dafoe, 58. Yen joined the cast of John Wick, Chapter 4, which was released in March 2023. Yen and the film both received positive reviews from critics, 59. In May 2024, it was reported that Yen would star in a John Wick spin-off movie around his assassin character Kane, 66. In April 2025, the Kane spin-off was confirmed at CinemaCon to be pushing through, with Yen also directing and Mattson Tomlin writing the script, 61. Martial arts history, style, and philosophy. Yen has exemplified his aptitude, expertise, and skill in an array of combat and martial arts disciplines, being well-versed in Tai Chi, boxing, kickboxing, Jeet Kune Do, Hapkido, mixed martial arts, Taekwondo, Karate, Muay Thai, amateur wrestling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Han Jie, Sanda, Judo, Shaolin Kung Fu, Wudangquan, Wing Chun, and Wushu, 62. Yen describes himself as a mixed martial artist. 3. He learned Shaolin Kung Fu and Wudangquan at a young age under his mother's tutelage, 63, 64. He then wanted to learn Taekwondo in his teenage years, earning a 6th dan in the process. At the time, the Beijing Wushu team had a scout in the United States and invited Yen over to Beijing, China, where he began training at the Beijing Sports Institute, the same facility where champion-turned-actor Jet Li trained. This is where the two of them crossed paths for the first time. Upon his return to the United States, Yen won gold medals in various wushu competitions, 65. Over the course of his life, Yen embarked on a quest to explore and acquire expertise in various other forms of martial arts disciplines. He obtained black and purple belts in Judo and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, respectively, and went on to study parkour, wrestling, Muay Thai, kickboxing, and boxing under various instructors. His exposure to the combat sport mixed martial arts, MMA, was heightened when he went back to the United States from 2000 to 2003. While making his Hollywood debut, he also took time off to learn the various martial arts forms in preparation for subsequent and future film roles, 66, 67. Yen's progress was evident when he returned to the East Asian film industry, where he implemented his newfound knowledge of MMA, showcased in films such as SPL, Sha Palang, 2005, Flashpoint, 2007, and Special ID, 2013.